So, guys, we got a potential new 2024 contender that Wall Street is clamoring for on the Democratic side. This is actually like you literally can't make this up. So, you guys might recall, Sagar and I actually recently covered this Wall Street Journal article talking about how sad they were to see a Trump Biden rematch, which looked relatable. All of us are not that excited about that. But the reason that they're upset about it is because they don't think these two men are friendly enough to Wall Street, which is just patently insane. And buried in that article, which I barely even noticed at the time, was them floating Jamie Dimon, CEO of course, Chase Bank, the biggest bank in the country, maybe the world, but certainly the country, as a potential presidential contender. Put this up on the screen from the Wall Street Journal. So here was the quote. They say, Jamie Dimon, whose name has swirled as a potential candidate for years, recently got an earful from a fellow billionaire who wishes the JP Morgan Chase CEO would run, according to people familiar with the matter. Interesting. I should have taken more note of that when it came out, because usually these little nuggets buried in this type of report have a lot more meaning than is initially laid out. And next thing you know, Jamie Dimon himself is on Bloomberg, which is, of course, the television station of the ultra wealthy. And he gets asked specifically about whether he would consider running for president or another public office. And interestingly, he doesn't exactly rule it out.
Now, Jamie, I know last week you talked a lot about succession or about your position, that you're not talking about retirement right now. I do need to ask you, though, and your name has been bandied about for years about public office. I mean, I don't think Wall Street's too pleased about a potential Trump versus Biden runoff next year. Has that scenario ever crossed your mind that you would run for public office or even accept a cabinet position?
You know, obviously it's crossed my mind because people mention things to you and stuff like that. You know, I love my country, and maybe one day I'll serve my country in one capacity or another, but I love what I do. I think JP Morgan do a great job for helping Americans, for helping countries around the world. And this is my job. This is what I'm going to do, and I'm quite happy doing it. I still have the energy to do it. I mentioned, you know, that when you don't, I think people should give up the job. We've got a fabulous management team who I really enjoy working with. So no, I'm here.
So, you know, there he says, I love my country. Maybe one day I'll serve my country. He says that he's thought about it. It's crossed his mind. Okay, so he's sort of holding out the possibility here. But you also had a major Wall Street dude, hedge funder Bill Ackman. He took to Twitter. He posted a long thread begging Jamie Dimon to run for president. We'll put this up on the screen. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's honestly, it's so embarrassing, but it's also really lengthy. So he says in part, Jamie Dimon is one of the world's most respected business leaders. Politically, he's a centrist. He's pro-business and pro-free enterprise, but also supportive of well-designed social programs and rational tax policies that can help the less fortunate. He's extremely smart, thoughtful, pragmatic, knows how to bring opposing parties together, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He goes on to say that Jamie Dimon is the leader that we need right now. We need an exemplary business, financial, and global leader to manage through what is likely to be a critically important decade for our country in determining our destiny. He goes on to say POTUS is extremely weak and in cognitive decline. No, can't really argue with that. 70% of Democrats don't want him to run. True. Biden's weakness sets up a large opening for a qualified outsider to run as a Democrat. I guess he doesn't consider the already candidates in the race to be qualified. And he says Jamie can beat Biden in the primary and Donald Trump in the general, but he needs to start now and build name recognition among the broad electorate. He will easily raise billions of dollars, I don't doubt that, from Democrats and Republicans to fund his campaign, and he knows how to build support. I also enjoyed this part of what he had to say because it's just like kind of a mask off moment. He says, Bill Ackman, JP Morgan stock will go up even more when Jamie becomes POTUS, as he can do more for the bank and our economy as president than he can as chairman and CEO of JP Morgan. The bank will be in great shape since he has built a deep succession bench that is more than ready to step up. There is only one better job for Jamie than CEO of JP Morgan Chase, and that is president of the United States. So he just comes out and says the quiet part out loud that this will be great for banks. It'll be great for JP Morgan Chase. Their stock will go up because Jamie would be able to do so much for them as president of the United States, as if Joe Biden and Donald Trump didn't already like give the store away to Wall Street and corporate America overall. It's actually kind of ironic because Sagar and I had joked that Jamie Dimon is already sort of president of the United States or more powerful than the president because of the amount of power that he holds within the banking sector and how critical that's been. We saw this in particular during the Silicon Valley bailout. There was all sorts of reporting about how instrumental Jamie Dimon was in formulating what the policy was. Apparently, originally, Biden had been kind of skeptical of doing any kind of bailout. And then Jamie Dimon and other figures like him got on the phone. Of course, Jamie Dimon also then was positioned to like suck up the profitable leftovers of the various banks that were collapsing at the time. So benefited him in the end in that way as well. But I always just think it's amazing the way that these people view the problems in America. They're not worried about like, oh, wealth inequality is too great, or they're not worried about like, oh, we need to be able to get everybody healthcare, or we need to check the military industrial complex. No, they actually think the problem is that our presidents haven't been pro Wall Street enough, haven't given enough away to the titans of Wall Street and of corporate America, which is so wildly disconnected from the views of the American people. And they also, I think, genuinely delude themselves into believing that there is an appetite among the American people for this type of quote unquote leadership. But, you know, they could ask Michael Bloomberg. That was his theory of the case last time around as well. And you can ask Michael Bloomberg how well this worked out for him. So, Sagar, it's just astonishing to me. Like, it reminded me.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Sagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.